021.
NBA action tonight on ESPN starting at 8 p.m. The Timberwolves head into Boston to play the Celtics. And then after that, in the nightcap, we have the Thunder heading into Staples Center to play the LeBron-less Lakers. That starts at 10:30. And then Friday, Luka up against Kyrie. That starts at 8 p.m. And then after that one, on the West Coast, the Thunder take on the Blazers, two of the best in the West. That's at 10:30. And every morning, come on, get up with the Get Up crew. They'll be talking about the latest in the wildcard games, the latest in college football, and much, much more. That starts at 8 a.m. every single day on ESPN. Right now on ESPN, you're watching Jalen Jacoby in for Jalen Rose, Mike Golick Jr. Thank you so much for joining the show. Now, Mike Golick Jr., I would say that we're not going to call you the greatest broadcaster of all time yet, but you're certainly trending in that direction. But there's a lot of talk about who the greatest of all time in the NBA is, and LeBron James and MJ are always discussed in that, but not usually by them. The latest from More Than an Athlete, LeBron James discusses it straight up. Let's listen.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time.
For so many reasons.
I was super, super ecstatic to win one for Cleveland because of the 52-year drought. Like, I was ecstatic. Like, obviously, I showed that the first wave of emotion was when everyone saw me crying. Like, that was all for 52 years of everything in sports going on in Cleveland. And then after I stopped, I was like, that one right there made you the greatest player of all time.
LeBron James is very media savvy, Mike Golick Jr. He knows what he's doing. Nothing is unintentional. Nothing is by accident. Nothing slips out of LeBron James' mouth. It's all very calculated. That's my opinion. What do you think he's doing when he says this into a microphone that he knows is going to be broadcasted to the world?
Well, I think he's always trying to keep attention firmly around him and his camp. He's got enough projects outside of the world of sports that, quite frankly, having any of those eyes on you or more eyes on you for whatever reason is always beneficial to him. But I think part of this is also just kind of what he feels like. LeBron James is a child prodigy, and we can talk about his comp to Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan came up a lot differently through this product. And when you're socialized the way LeBron was as a kid coming up who was so good at this and then has lived up to all of it, I think there's part of you that not only believes this, but always believed it was attainable.
So I'm going to do the media thing. I'm going to read way too much into this. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here's what LeBron James is doing here. He's looking at his Lakers team. He's saying, we're not going to compete for a championship this year. And if we bring in maybe not Anthony Davis, but a big free agent, we might not compete for a championship next year. I might not win another championship. So let me just go ahead and say that the championship that I've already won has made me the greatest of all time. That's what I think that he's doing. I think he's like, you know what? That might be the last time I hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy. So let me just say that I don't need to do it again to be considered the greatest of all time. Again, did he say any of that? No. But that's what I'm reading into him saying that on More Than an Athlete that you can catch on ESPN+. Moving on. The Rockets, you remember when they started the season and they were terrible and they couldn't win games, they were below 500 and everything was going bad and then Chris Paul got hurt? Well, guess what? They have now won 10 of their last 11, and in the last 4 games, James Harden has scored 40 points in over 4 games. He's scored over 40 points. I'm flabbergasted by this, as you can already tell. Mike Golick Jr., what do you think about James Harden's performance in the Rockets turnaround?
I mean, it's an all-time run when you talk about a 10-game stretch where the only peers in your group as far as output are Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. You're in some esteemed company, and I'm inclined to really get excited about that. But also there's part of me that says I've seen plenty of regular season greatness from James Harden. I've seen him shoulder this kind of load, and I worry about what happens if it goes on for too long, because we've also seen him sputter and run out of energy when it comes toward the playoffs, which is now where the next level of success has to come for him.
Yeah, I think that for them, I do believe that they are the greatest threat. A healthy Rockets is the greatest threat to the Warriors in the Western Conference. We saw it last year, but again, that's a healthy Rockets. And Chris Paul didn't just miss the end of their series with the Warriors last year. He's missing some games right now. And the longer that Chris Paul is out, the more that James Harden has to score 40 points for them to win. And when it's, we're not even at the halfway mark of the season. If he has to do this night after night after night, I do think that he will not have the energy to take them over the Warriors in the playoffs. But look, Chris Paul gets back soon. They can continue this run. I really think they are the biggest threat to the Warriors in the West. And I always have faith in Daryl Morey. They will make at least one trade. They'll pick up somebody that got bought out. They'll do something to improve their defense and their shooting that will help them make a good playoff run. Also, James Harden, not the only one putting up big numbers in the NBA. Kawhi Leonard was facing the Jazz last night and had a career-high 45 points. That is a lot of points for Kawhi Leonard. 45 points against the Jazz. What do you think about his comeback after last season's drama and injury?
I think it solidifies him as by far and away the best offseason acquisition that we've seen in quite some time. I mean, you got an MVP caliber player on a team that was already #1 in the Eastern Conference last year. I understand we can dispute the meaning of that in a league where you still had LeBron James at the time, but the timing of that move as LeBron goes to the West, it can't be overstated. So now seeing the level he's playing at, seeing it touch that ceiling that quite frankly we started to see before he went out with injury in that series with Golden State a couple of playoffs ago, to fans in Toronto who have constantly been on the outside looking in when it comes to that top tier, that ultimate stage as you get later in the playoffs, I have to imagine are feeling pretty confident right now.
And one thing I want to point out in the difference between how James Harden does it and how Kawhi Leonard does it, Kawhi Leonard missed 6 field goals and scored 45 points. There were 6 attempts at the rim in which the ball did not go in, and he scored 45 points. And we watched James Harden. James Harden, in his latest 43-point performance, only made 8 field goals. I think he had like 27 free throws or something like that. But you talked about the MVP. You talked about Kawhi. We talked about James Harden. Let's not forget about Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, who got freaky all over John Lure in Milwaukee last night. He's just so long. Do you respect John Lure for the attempt, or should he not even bother?
I don't think you need to bother in that case. Like, Giannis is starting to get into that group where you see him coming to the lane with that level of ferocity. This is a young LeBron James as far as athleticism, and maybe, quite frankly, with the length, an even scarier proposition to try and go meet at the rim. I understand shot blockers don't think like that, but this is the internet age, man. You got to understand that we are going to spend days poring over your demise if you put yourself in this situation. Just say no, man.
Exactly. And there's so much discussion about Giannis, and everyone's like, oh, well, he doesn't have a jump shot. He'll never be able to take a team to a championship unless he shoots. He can't be the MVP unless he develops a jump shot. I'm just going to go on record and say, I'm not necessarily sure that's true. He's got more dunks than everybody else in the whole entire league. We've seen players dominate without a jump shot before in this league, and he doesn't need it. Sure. Will he develop it over time? Yes. Is it going to help open things up for him? Yes. But he clearly does not need this jump shot the way people are screaming for him to develop one in the NBA. I am so excited because up next, it is soft move or boss move, and I finally get to discuss LeBron James walking into the Staples Center with a glass of wine in hand to a game he wasn't going to play. We'll break it down after this.
Jalen Jacoby is brought to you by CarMax, America's #1 used car retailer.
And remember,
Coming to you live from the Seaport District here on Pier 17 in Lower Manhattan and brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen Jacoby. Mike Golick Jr. in for Jalen. And now it is time for Soft Move or Boss Move. This needs no explanation, so we will get right into it. Mr. Golick, are you ready? Antonio Brown has been in the news a lot lately, but this I found very interesting. He has purchased himself a ring, and on that ring is the head of a goat encrusted with diamonds. Proclaiming yourself the GOAT through jewelry. Soft move or boss move?
I got to go soft move on this one, and I got to channel my inner Stu Gatz from the Dan Le Batard show when I say if you're going to proclaim yourself your GOAT with a ring, you might as well make sure it's a Super Bowl ring at this point. I mean, come on,
I like
seriously.
it. Oh, I like it. I like that a lot. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
I mean, seriously, who is this guy? If you're going to do it, if you're going to be the GOAT and you want to show me a ring, it better be a Super Bowl championship ring, and right now I'm not seeing that.
Oh, I love it. Great job by you, Mike Golick Jr. We're going to move on. The Bills are known for losing football games and also smashing folding tables during tailgates. The Bills Mafia was out for the last game of the season. It was a very Buffalo scene. There's a little bit of snow on the ground. There was a visiting fan in a Tannehill jersey that said, you know what? I'm not just going to go through a folding table. I'm going to go through a folding table on fire. And then he's going to be on fire afterwards. Exhibiting your tailgating dominance through stupidity. Soft move or boss move?
It's got to be a boss move, right? Like, I can call it a stupid move, I can call it ill-advised, but I can't call going through a table and catching on fire soft. It's just, that is nowhere near the dictionary definition.
It's a great point. I have so many follow-up questions about this. Like, how did they light the thing on fire? Was this consensual? How did they put him out? Was he burned? Was he hurt? And also, I have to say that when you watch this video, just remember, this was the only time Ryan Tannehill was on fire all season long. Oh.
Ooh.
I had to.
Cold-blooded.
Thank you to my producer, Alex, for feeding me that line that I'm not smart enough to come up with myself. We saw this in the big win from LSU over UCF over the weekend. Quarterback Joe Burrow threw this interception, and then Joey Connors absolutely obliterated him as he tried to make the tackle. Mike Golick Jr., you played college football. Obliterating the quarterback after an interception, soft move or boss move?
That's a boss move all the way. And as much as we protect the quarterbacks now, and as much as I, as a former offensive lineman, always strove to protect the quarterback, there's just something about that opportunity, that split-second chance you get as a D lineman to really enforce your will. Give Joe Burrow credit for getting up, but give Buddy more credit for knocking him down.
I mean, it's a good point. I think that when you are a quarterback and you're in this situation, you have to realize that you are a target. And he should have been called for targeting, but you have to realize that this man has spent all day just trying to hit you, and now you're in the open field without the football, not even looking. Like, you kind of have to be a little more cognizant of the fact that this man has been thinking for 3 weeks now just about hitting you, and if you're putting yourself in that position, he's going to take full advantage of it. But I'm still going to call it a soft move. Come on, Joey Connors. Helmet to helmet. It's literally against the rule. It says targeting a defensive quarterback after a turnover, and they still didn't call it. And also taunting him when he's all broken and down. He got hit a lot that game. Shout out to Joe Burrow. Moving on. LeBron James, over the holidays, seems like a million years ago now, he had a small groin injury in the Lakers' Christmas Day win against the Warriors, which means he's going to be missing some time while he's resting, while he's on the mend. And he arrived to one of the games to support his teammates, knowing that there would be cameras there, with a suit, a sweatshirt, and a glass of wine. He's walking through the Staples Center with a glass, not a cup, a glass of red wine. Drinking wine at work. Soft move or boss move?
This is the bossest move of all time, and LeBron James has made his brand so synonymous with wine at this point that I don't think championships, I don't think all of the outside ventures. I think, man, this guy loves a good glass of red. I've been campaigning to let us drink wine at work for years. Shout out to Kathy Lee and Hoda for making that a reality and something to strive for years of me waking up and watching them in the morning. One day we're going to get there.
Huge shout out to Kathy Lee and Hoda, who are on like around the same time that you're on, but they do drink wine at the same time. I have to say this, though. Soft move. And here's why. It's like, LeBron, I know you have the day off, but you can drink wine in the locker room before the game, drink wine at halftime, but you know when you walk through the tunnel, especially when you're injured, there's going to be cameras on you, and you know we're going to talk about it. And if you're going to be giving people advice, like, you don't want to be the drunk guy giving advice, you want to be the sober guy giving advice. Like, that's just what I'm saying. If I were LeBron, I probably would drink wine, but while I was in the car on the way there, and while I was in the locker room before the game, and at halftime, so it wouldn't be on Jalen Jacoby 7 days later and have them talk about it. We have one more LeBron-related soft move or boss move. I hope you enjoyed your holidays. And LeBron's no different than the rest of us. He enjoys his holidays, and he has a Christmas tree, and he takes pictures with his family, and he uploads those pictures to social media, just like all of us. However, I noticed something. If you look at this picture of LeBron James and his beautiful wife, Savannah, those presents in the background, I am claiming are prop presents under the tree. I'm claiming he did not decorate this tree. He hired someone to decorate this tree. That person brought in prop presents to put under the tree. They all have the exact same wrapping. They all are stacked on top of each other with ribbons around all of them. I'm very suspicious about these prop presents. Prop presents, soft move or boss move?
Soft move all the way through. I don't want to wealth shame someone, but you're rich. There should be no fake presents in that household, even if they are going to kids far more needy than your own who probably want for nothing. Having fake presents there is a front to all of this, but really it's the whole image. I think soft move on getting dressed up for the holidays. You're supposed to be with family, friends, loved ones, people close to you who should be able to appreciate you not dressed to the nines. Unless he's on his way to the Staples Center to go sit on the sideline and sip more wine at a game, being that dressed up for the holidays is the softest move there is.
So I'm going to go the other way with this. I think this is a boss move. I think that LeBron James has so much money that he's just like, you know what? I'm not wrapping any presents. I'm not doing any of that. You know what? I'm going to take these pictures in front of the tree, so I'm going to hire somebody else. Like, there was a guy named Gary and, like, a woman named Alicia. They were like, what are you doing today for work? Oh, I got to go to LeBron James's house, decorate a tree, put the tree in there, wrap up some fake presents, put it underneath. Because, you know what? It takes a lot of time to light that thing, to put the ornaments in it, to fill it up, and to buy it, and to carry it up the stairs. And people talk about how that's, like, such great memories you're making. Nah, that's 2 hours of your day you're never going to get back. Boss move. I cannot wait until I'm rich enough to have prop presents under the tree. I also cannot wait to find out how much it would take to get Mike Golic Jr. in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. We'll find out right after this.
Integrity.
Welcome back to Jalen Jacoby. Jalen Rose out. We have Mike Golic Jr. in. Thanks so much for joining the show. We have a segment on the show that doesn't need much explanation. It's called What's Your Number? So, in an event that didn't make that much of a splash on this side of the Pacific, over the holidays, Floyd Mayweather actually fought in a boxing match. He fought against young Japanese kickboxer by the name of Tenshin Nasukawa. Now, this fight didn't even get to the second round. It was a TKO. Floyd Mayweather dominated. He knocked down Tenshin 3 times in 97 seconds. So, the question for you, what is your number to fight a 1-round fight against Floyd Mayweather?
Man, that's got to be north. That's probably got to be north of a mil. I'd say comfortably. Because my worst fear, like, I get people can talk all this stuff about Floyd's style and he's a smaller guy. Like, my worst fear is being knocked out at a bar by some lower weight UFC fighter who masquerades as just a small guy in a bar. So as much as I want to say I'd be able to absorb those blows, I know I'd have 3 on the chin before I knew which way is up. You got to cover my expenses and then make me feel whole on the back end.
Yes, I'd say this is a very dangerous proposition because, like, I have concussion problems. I know I'm going to get concussed in this. It's like a guaranteed concussion. There's no way I'm not getting knocked out by Floyd Mayweather. I want $2.5 million for this. I don't believe that the pay-per-view draw will make that much in revenue. I don't think Jacoby versus Mayweather is going to exactly bring in the dollars that some other boxing matches might, but I need at least $2.5 million. But more importantly than the number, let's imagine that we do have a number that you are both happy with. What is your strategy against Floyd Mayweather?
Protect myself and try and dance as best I can. I'm just trying to minimize the catastrophic damage. Like, I know I'm going to get knocked out. I'm trying to leave with only one part of my body ravaged. Like, I'm either going to give him the body or I'm going to make sure that he's only hitting me up top. I'm not going to walk out with sore kidneys and a broken jaw.
I don't know what the rules are exactly. Like, can I just crawl in the fetal position? Can I punch myself in the face? Do I attack the referee and try to get the match to be ended? Like, I'm going with one of those. I'm jumping out of the ring like a wrestler. I'm going with something like that before I actually try to exchange blows with one of the greatest pound-for-pound boxers to ever walk the planet. Moving on. This is a very interesting story. There's a young man by the name of Braxton Morale, and he's in Kansas. He was recognized early for being, academically strong. And around 4th grade, his parents said that someone said, this is a really, really gifted child. We should treat him special. Well, Braxton has worked so hard in school that he's graduating high school at 16 years old. Not only that, later the month, when he graduates high school at 16 years old, he's also going to be graduating an undergraduate degree from Harvard. So at 16, he's going to graduate from Kansas and from Harvard at the same time. Mike Golic Jr., I'm assuming you did not graduate from high school and Harvard at the same time. What do you think about this accomplishment from Braxton?
I think it's an incredible accomplishment, and we need to keep our eyes like, can I invest in this kid? Is there anywhere I can buy stock in him? Because someone who's capable of doing this is going to go on and solve the problems in the world that actually need solving. Like, we don't have to worry about him becoming some hack broadcaster, some gas bag on the radio. This kid's actually going to do something great. I need to figure out how I can pitch in and support him.
Yes, he did say that he wants to get into politics, which we won't discuss. But here's my thing. You're going too fast, Braxton. Slow down. Like, what about, you want to go to college? Don't you want to go to a dorm room? Don't you want to have a roommate? Don't you want to date? Because the college experience is important. You know, go to campus, throw up a couple times, go to some frat parties, find out what you like and don't like, maybe dress weird for one semester and see if that works. Call yourself Brax instead of Braxton. Like, I think you need that college experience to become a well-rounded human being. Going too fast, accomplishing too much, that is the only way that I can justify my distaste for Braxton Morale and all of his success. Shout to him. We have a very important update from the world of pop culture. In the introduction of a new book from a trainer, Jay-Z and Beyonce said that they want to spread their lifestyle to as many people as possible. You're listening, aren't you? You're interested. Do you want to know what that lifestyle they want to spread is? Veganism. Are you ready to go vegan for Jay-Z and Beyonce?
Not a chance in holy hell. No, I want to spread the rest of the parts of their lifestyle. Like, I will adopt the vegan portion of your lifestyle if I also get to fly private with you guys for the rest of time. I also get to make a portion of your earnings for the rest of time here. So I will take vegan if it is part of the larger Jay-Z and Beyonce picture. I'll sit in a crib with Blue Ivy. I don't care, but I'm not doing that just on an island.
I do like this. I do like this because I basically live Jay-Z and Beyonce's lifestyle, but all the bad stuff. I've got the twins. I've got the older kid. I've got the parenting, but I don't have the nannies. I don't have the private jets. I do like what you did. It's like, I will go vegan if I get all the other trappings. That's a great way of putting it. It's like, yes, I do want cheese pizza, but I can give up cheese pizza if I've got a fleet of private jets and a whole flock of nannies. I'm 100% on board with the way you answered this question, Mr. Golick Jr. I want to remind everybody that they can listen to my partner and co-host Mike Golick Jr. every morning between 4 and 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio First and Last, and then the first 2 hours of Golick and Wingo right after that. We'll be back tomorrow with another show.